In 2019, a man named Marcus paid $80,000 for a patch of gravel behind a Cleveland office block. No building, no tenants, just dirt, some weeds, and a chain link fence. 18 months later, that same patch of dirt was generating more profit per square foot than the 12-story office tower standing right next to it. No product, no customers walking away with a bag. Just empty space, rented out by the hour. How does a piece of land with nothing on it out-earn a building full of paying tenants? To answer that, you have to follow the land itself. Because Marcus didn't stumble onto some secret formula. He followed a pattern that quietly repeats in almost every city on Earth. The lot he bought had been rejected by 3 different developers before him. The zoning was too restrictive for housing. The shape was too narrow for a proper building. Flood risk scared off 2 banks. In other words, it was land nobody wanted to build on. But Marcus wasn't looking to build anything. He was looking at what sat 2 blocks away. A hospital with 4,000 employees and almost no employee parking.
He spent $62,000 paving and striping the lot, another $11,000 on a gated payment kiosk, and about $7,000 on lighting and signage. Compare that to what it costs to open almost anything else. A small restaurant can eat through $500,000 before serving a single plate. A retail store needs inventory just to unlock its doors on day 1. Marcus needed none of that. His entire business was the ground itself, and the ground doesn't need restocking. Here's where it gets interesting, though. Most people assume a parking lot only makes money one way. Hourly parking. That's what Marcus assumed too. He was wrong, and the moment he realized it changed everything. His hourly parking brought in steady but unremarkable cash, roughly $9,000 a month, based on an assumed 60% occupancy across 40 spaces at $12 a day. Fine, but nothing special. Then he sold 20 of those spaces as monthly reserved parking to hospital staff at $110 each, guaranteed income, paid whether the car showed up or not. Suddenly the lot behaved less like a parking business and more like a subscription service. And that still wasn't the real jump. 3 blocks away, a concert venue hosted 22 events a year. On show nights, Marcus raised his rate from $12 to $50. Same spaces, same lot, 5 times the price because on those nights people weren't paying for parking anymore. They were paying to not be late, to not walk 8 blocks in the rain, to not miss the opening act. One single concert night could out-earn an entire slow week of regular parking. That single insight, more than the paving or the kiosk, is what actually built his profit margin. But none of this explains why the money kept growing even after the parking stopped. Because it did keep growing, and the reason had nothing to do with cars. A telecom company approached Marcus about mounting a small cell tower on the back corner of his lot. $800 a month for roughly 4 square meters he wasn't using anyway. A food truck operator asked to park on the sidewalk edge during lunch hours, paying $200 a month for the privilege. Neither of these had anything to do with parking. They were rent layered on top of rent on top of rent. This is the part most people miss entirely. Parking lot isn't one business. It's 3 or 4 small businesses quietly stacked on the same slab of concrete. Now, here's the number that made Marcus's accountant sit up. Total gross revenue across all of it, hourly parking, monthly passes, event surge pricing, and the side leases landed close to $210,000 in year 2. Operating costs stayed under $30,000. No cost of goods sold, no spoilage, no shrinkage, just striping touch-ups, insurance, taxes, and a camera system instead of a full-time attendant. Margins on a lot like this run well typically fall somewhere between 30 and 50%, though that range shifts hard depending on the city, the location, and how full the lot actually stays. Marcus landed near the high end. Not everyone does. So if it's this profitable, why doesn't every vacant lot in America look like this one? Because the risks that come with this business are just as real as the profits, and most people only discover them the hard way. Property taxes on urban land can climb fast, especially in cities that treat surface parking as a wasteful use of valuable ground and tax it accordingly. Insurance is non-negotiable, because cars get scratched, hit, and stolen, And one serious accident without proper coverage can erase years of profit in a single lawsuit. Then there's the risk nobody puts in the pitch deck. The land is often worth more empty than it is as a parking lot, which means the better the lot performs, the more attractive it becomes to a developer with a bigger checkbook, and the sooner that operator might be forced to sell or start over somewhere else. Marcus knew this going in, which is why he never treated the lot as permanent. He treated it as a clock, running until someone offered him enough to walk away. This same story, in different forms, has played out at a much larger scale. SP Plus and Ace Parking manage thousands of lots across airports, hospitals, and stadiums nationwide, treating parking less like a side hustle and more like infrastructure. Chicago went even further, leasing its entire metered parking system to a private investment group for over $1 billion upfront. A deal still debated today because of exactly how much money that meter revenue turned out to generate for the new owners. Different scale, same underlying mechanic. Marcus discovered on his gravel lot. Control access to scarce space, and people will pay whatever the moment demands. Not everyone plays this game well, though. The most common mistake is location, betting on foot traffic or event demand that quietly dries up. Some operators sign long-term leases right before a nearby stadium relocates, locking themselves into fixed costs with no matching revenue. Others skip proper insurance to save a few $100s a month, a decision that can cost them everything the moment one accident happens. And a few discover, too late, that a single zoning change from City Hall can turn a profitable lot into land they're no longer legally allowed to use the same way. In this business, the asphalt is never the risk. The location, the lease terms, and the surrounding market always are. So back to Marcus 3 years in. $80,000 to acquire the land. Roughly $80,000 more to prepare it. $180,000 in profit, give or take, by year 3, once occupancy stabilized and the side leases kicked in. Numbers like this vary enormously based on city, foot traffic, and how aggressively an operator prices events, so treat this as one real example rather than a universal formula. But the pattern behind it holds up across almost every version of this business, from a single gravel lot to 1,000 location operator managing airports. Which brings us back to the question we started with. How does empty land out-earn a building full of tenants? Not by selling a product. Not by building anything. Marcus never sold a single item off that lot. What he sold was time, access, and convenience. 3 things people will pay for again and again without ever asking for a receipt they'll remember. While other businesses chase customers and fight for loyalty, the lot just sits there, charges by the hour, and lets human impatience do the rest. Maybe that's the real lesson buried under all that asphalt. The most powerful businesses aren't always the ones creating something new. Sometimes, they're the ones quietly controlling something everyone already needs.